You're watching Full Tilt Vegas with Richard Delatorre. Full Tilt!
Hitting down the sounds right here in Las Vegas Live. Yeah, my name is Richard Delatorre. I'm the author of It's in the Book Winning Ways. You can pick that up on Barnes & Noble. You can download it on your phone. You can Amazon it. I was very lucky. I think it was in 2018. I don't know if it was 18 or 17, but anyway, I was number 7 on Amazon for gaming. I just happened to sell a lot of books at that time. I was right there with Doyle Brunson, The Magician, Donnie O'Granu. I was really proud that I got that far up the chain from especially though I was right there next to them guys. That was my first book. But yeah, you can go ahead and get that. It's on blackjack, craps, roulette. Tells you everything about the ins and outs of those 3 games. I do talk about other stuff on my videos. You got to go to Delatorre 360 Entertainment on YouTube. That's my YouTube channel. And I talk about almost everything you can think of in the casino. So poker, keno, slot machines, how they work. Video poker you should be playing instead of hit three diamonds or try to hit 4 diapers. You're better off playing video poker. They know what I'm talking about. I talked about it before. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I've talked about that in slot machines. That picture you see, it's just a picture. It has nothing to do with you need 3 7s or I need 4 7s or like I say, you need 3 diapers. Has nothing to do with it. It's just a picture. The wheel stops at in that section. That little sequence when it stops, that's a sequence. Whatever you're going this way, that way, or just straight across, or whatever you're playing, it just has to stop in that sequence. If it's straight across, it has to stop like that. 3 7s or, like I said, anything. It doesn't matter. You can get if you can actually buy one slot machine and you open it up and you put a picture of you 3 across where it has 3 7s. Where the sequence hits, next time it hits that same sequence, instead of the 7s, you'll see a picture of you across. That sequence, when it stops, that slot machine has nothing to do with the picture. It's just a picture. It's the sequence that the wheel stops at that's sending the signal to the motherboard that whatever the payout is, it's going to pay it out. So that's how they work. But I go to more detail. You have to go to slot machines on Delatorre 360, and I explained how slot machines work. They're run by a random generator, 24/7. They're running. They're not running when you wake up and you go to the casino and put a quarter in. That they're running 24/7, 365 days a week. They're always running. The random generator is running all the time. It's when you put that coin in, pull that lever, and that sequence has to hit at that time. So you can go to my videos and see that on slot machines. I talk about keno, poker, and then also in my book I have the blackjack. I do the tables on blackjack. Card recognition, card counting. There's on craps, everybody knows. These are for all the new people that haven't seen my show, because I'm supposed to get some new people coming on. They're supposed to be watching it tonight. So in craps, tell you everything about craps, how to hedge bet, money management. Also blackjack, I devise the tables for you can see why the casino offers you blackjack. Why do they offer it? It's not because of you, it's for them. So I talk about that in my book about blackjack, and also stiff hands. I think I'm going to talk about stiff hands here tonight, but the ratios of 12 is real interesting. So, but anyway, you can go ahead and get that book. So those are for the new people. I know a lot of the older people already know. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about right now. I'm going to talk about ratios of 16. The worst stiff hand you can get is this blackjack. The worst hand you can get is 16. Let me think here. single and double decks. I was thinking of six decks, but it's single and double decks. In my opinion, is the worst thing to play. It is the worst thing you can play because you get too many stiff hands. Now, there's some card counters that I know they say they like playing it because if they sit at first base, if they can get at first base, if the count starts to go high, then they'll get those high cards coming out first. But it doesn't matter where you sit, really. I've talked about that. Me and Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas Advisor. People know who that is here in Las Vegas. You can go ahead and download Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas Advisor. It'll give you anything you want to know about Las Vegas. It's on that side. I give him a plug because he actually came on my episode 14. And you'll see me and Anthony talk about. He's world famous card counter. He's been on Bar Rescue. He's Vegas Cheats. They go to him to ask for advice in the gaming world of Vegas Cheats or card counting. But in my opinion, a single double deck are the worst you can get. What does they come in the casino with 40, leaving with 400? That sounds good. Mad 40. Thanks, Twitter. Yep, 40. Yep, I understand what you're saying. It does happen. There's people. Myself, I used to go to the Stardust years ago. That was my home. I knew everybody there. I used to get everything free because I was always there. I lived here for that time. It was 4 years, 2 months when I lived here. I think it was in 95 to 99. But I used to always walk in there with just $40 and play craps. A lot of times I would do very well. There's been times I would make $800, $1,200 with $40. But I actually got there when the table was pretty good. So, and I mean pretty good. I mean, it was really good. But I knew what I was doing too. So, but I think back then, of course, I didn't have the knowledge I have now on craps. My knowledge is just 100%, 200% when it was back then. But what I was using back then was money management. So that's very important. Yeah, well, that's good. $40 turns into 400. That's fantastic. Yeah, the ratio of 16. I'll give you an example here, and this is in my book, so you don't have to write it down if you want to get this. Same girl. We're working at a casino, and what on a gun run into everyone because I want to see my what? She ran into a I know. Wow, that's interesting. So is they teaching you casino, or did you just meet them there? You know how that's crazy because I met some of my teachers were like in a store, and I get so scared. I remember when I was going to school and I'd run around the corner because I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't know they were going to tell me would you do your homework? But anyway, like on a single deck, if you get the ratio is 28 to 20 in the casino's favor that you're going to bust. And 2 decks is 60 to 40. 6 decks is 188 to 120. Now this is on stiff hand of 16. 8 decks is 252 to 160 that you'll bust. So you can see the bust ratio was really high. That's why I don't care to play single deck. I know a lot of people think it's easy. You could use card recognition, but the problem with single deck is there's a couple of problems with it. Usually there's 5, 6 players. You only get one hand. So once it's dealt, if you're a card counter or you're even using card recognition, it doesn't matter. You're only going to get dealt one, and then you got to reshuffle on one deck. So that's 5 to 6 players at the table. Now you're better off if you're going to be using card recognition or card counting. You're trying to get a table where it's just you or maybe 2 people, because then you'll get more hands. But 2 decks, you'll probably get maybe 3 hands out of that. But it's just play multiple deck. You don't get as many stiff hands. Who's that? Memo? Oh, it's in Spanish. El Casino. No, sorry, can't read Spanish. But yeah, just keep. You can go to. She was new, huh? Or he was new. So I don't care. I just don't care. It's my opinion. I don't play single double decks. you should always be playing a multi-deck shoe. That's 6 decks, 8 decks. Now, oh, and the other thing, single deck, it pays 6 to 5. A lot of the casinos are only paying 6 to 5 on blackjack instead of 3 to 2. So that's why I don't like playing that either. Yeah, downtown, what was it? Was it Binion's? No, it was Fremont. I saw they actually pay 3 to 2 on double deck, but single deck is still 6 to 5. Okay, on the multi-deck shoe, you get less stiff hands. So even if you get a 16, at least there's a lot of smaller cards that maybe you won't bust. And I always tell people, play 2 hands. Don't. You should be playing 2 hands. Don't play 3. I've done all the scenarios on that, and I've talked about that on my shows on blackjack, on card recognition and card counting and all that. You can go to those and see the title, blackjack or card counting, and I talk about that. I actually done all the scenarios in that, and it took me, I don't know, it was probably a Friday or Saturday night when everybody was partying. I was in my little casino. I had my little homemade casino there. I turned a 2-car garage into a homemade casino, and I practice. I used to practice all scenarios, the ratios, the percentages, and that's how I ended up coming up with this book. So, but it took 40 years. I wasn't planning on publishing. I just started writing papers, and then I had to clean them up, and go over them and add to them, make them short, make them right to the point. There's a lot of math involved, so I had to do a lot of math. So the publisher of the book, they weren't going to do the math, so I had to do the math and just send it to them, and it had to be right. They just printed it, and a couple of them they got wrong, and I had to go over the book again and go over the math again. So it was painstaking. It took me, I probably had the book for 4 years. A lot of people wanted to buy it in manuscript form because I dealed in California 16 years as a dealer. I deal all the games, carnival games. I had it in manuscript form, and I would show them. I wouldn't sell it, but I would show them on my break. I didn't do it when I was playing, but then I would show them scenarios on the crap table, blackjack or roulette, and they go, "Wow, can I buy your book?" I says, "No." I was going to sell it for $30, and I had a lot of people wanted to buy it, but I wouldn't sell it because it was in manuscript form, and all they had to do is take it home and make copies and give it to their friends. That's why I didn't do it. So after 4 years, I found Page Publishing in New York, and I submitted my manuscript, and they got back with me, and they said that they were interested because the guy, the owner of the company, one of the general managers of it, he liked playing craps. So the guy who was reading it took it to him, and he said, ask him if he wants to break it in 3 books or 1. I says, no, I'm not going to be this thick of a book. It's going to be, I think it's 87 pages. No, it's going to right to the point and put all 3 in there. And so I Page Publishing, they only picked 280 people out of 2,400. So a month. That's what they do, because they're always getting books submitted. And that's funny. It's not over here. As soon as I Vegas, everything aligned for me. Perfect. Yep. Yeah, people can read these at home, huh? This one's a little bit bigger. I can kind of read that one. Like I told people in the past, they call me Richard Blind. No, because I had one cataract done and the other one's not. And I probably got my sugars a little too high, but I can see that one. Yeah, stiff hands, blackjack busting on stiff hands. I go through that in the book. And the one that people are really interested in, that I really talk about, I have helped some of my friends, blackjack on stiff hands. You made me feel what? Richard? Inspiring. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to talk about the ratios of blackjack and the ratios of 12. It's really interesting. Believe me, on a Friday and Saturday night, like I said, when everybody was partying, I was going over this. I was saying, why because I play a multi-deck shoe, 6 decks or 8 decks. It doesn't matter to me. I can count 6 and 8 deck shoe. You can go to episode 24, and I do a live card counting. It's 1 deck, but I do it live on, it was called the Unicon last year, and Brett Lawson, he's got a show here Wednesdays. His is on sports. So you might want to check that. So I did live card counting. I only did a single deck because it was a show and I wasn't going to be there all day. So I just did it real quick, and I did the count. I got the count correct. And that was counting 1 deck. You can count 6 and 8 decks. People think you can't do it. No, I'm not Rain Man. It's a way it's set up, how you count them cards. It's how it's set up. There's certain numbers you got to start at per deck. So once you learn that, you can count a 6 or 8 deck shoe. I can count it. I can get all the cards out, and I do show that on my episodes. 1-step card counting on my episodes. So on blackjack, and they can lay all the cards out, and I can sweep the table with my eyes. I can just go, I'm done. I already know what the count is. That's how fast I can count. Try to count a deck in 25 seconds. If you do it in 30, that's fine. I do it in, I got to 23 seconds because I was drilling myself to do that. But anyway, I'm going to tell you something about 12. I know I don't talk about other shows, but these new people that are coming on that are watching this, they asked me about why does a casino offer blackjack? Why do they do it? So I said I'm going to talk about that tonight, and then I'm going to go into 12 because 12 is really close to blackjack. I got these numbers in my head. So on ratios of 12, if there's a 6 deck shoe,
Your caller,
oh, he's coming.
Mr. Caller, if you want to tell him to call back in.
Who was calling me? Somebody was trying to call me back in. Dana? I don't know. Dana? Somebody was trying to call in.
Tell him to call back.
Yeah, just call back, Dave. You can cut me off. I'll see where I left off. Was Dana or Dave? I can't remember. Anyway, but the ratios of 12, like is this on? If you have a 6 deck shoe, and it's in the beginning. These are the starting ratios, and I talk about everything in the book. Starting ratios, blackjack on whatever deck you're playing, single, double, 4 decks, 5 decks, 6 decks, 8 decks, 10 decks. It doesn't matter. In the beginning, if you get a 10 and a 12, which 10 and a 2, which is a 12, and the dealer has, it doesn't matter if the dealer has a 7 through king. That's a face value 7, 8, 9, and then king, queen, jack would be a 10. It doesn't matter. If you see any of those, the ratios 215 to 93, you won't bust. It's actually goes all the way down to 2.25% if you do 1 deck, whatever, all the way to 6, 8, 10 decks. But the thing is, in a 6 deck shoe, think about that. There are 215 cards you will not bust if you take in another card. There's only 93 cards that will bust you. That's a 12 in a 6 deck shoe. On a 8 deck shoe, it's 200 and I think it's 287 to 128 that you won't bust. So look how many cards, 287 you won't bust. But you have to know that. You have to have it memorized. But those are the ratios that you won't bust. Now, blackjack, somebody on my phone, blackjack, somebody trying to call me on my phone. Blackjack, the reason why casinos offer blackjack is because it's not because it's in your favor. So if you have, I'll try the 6 deck shoe. 6 deck shoe. There are two. If whatever cards you have, if the dealer has an up card and it's an ace, in a 6 deck shoe, there are 213 cards that they're not going to have it. There's only 96 they're going to have it. They're going to have a 10 value card underneath there. There's 96 cards. They're going to have it, and there's 200 and let me see. There's 213. They're not going to have it. So the ratio's in your favor that they're not going to have blackjack. That's why they offer it. And so what gets me pissed off is now they're cutting it down to 6-5. You know, they already got the advantage unless you know yourself the ratios on blackjack and 12. 12 is, to me, I love it. Blackjack, yeah, I care about it if I get it. And but it's not like 12 because a lot of people get 12. You know, when you get 12, you know, what am I going to do? And it's weird because sometimes I double down on 12 because I know the ratio's in my favor. And then if I'm adding card counting to it, there's been quite a few times where I've taken a card and haven't busted and doubled down and won. It's because I know what the ratios are. This is just knowledge that you can get. It's in my book. It's in the book Winning Ways. And that's what it's called. It's in the book Winning Ways. I don't mean it's in the book. That's the title of the book. It's in the book Winning Ways because there is a book on winning ways. There's an insurance company on winning ways. So I had to put there, it's in the book. So yeah, I've devised all these on 12. Like in a single deck, there are 35 cards that can help you, and there's 13 that will bust you in a single deck. Two decks is 71 to 29. 71 cards you're not going to bust, and 29 you are. So it gets better once you go up to 6 decks. I think, is he calling in?
No, I'm just testing it.
Oh, Dave. I think his name is Dave. Dana.
Dana, call back.
Dana, call back. I can 855-502-4321, and then push 1 for the studio. If anybody has any questions, okay, I got a question. Go ahead. Who's this?
Hey, Richard, this is Dave.
Oh, Dave. Oh, yeah, he's. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Richard's colleague. I helped him out write his In the Book book, and fellow dealer, and I deal here in California for the casino nights and the parties.
Yeah, Dave. Me go back a long way. Him, another friend of mine, Art, and Roger. It's funny. We think of them as our cousins, but they're not because we've known each other since we were like 6, 7 years old. It's just really weird. I've known these guys all my life. Yeah, at the time I didn't know how to use a computer, but I was writing everything down on paper. So I went down the street to Dave's house and I said, Dave, you can help me and put this in manuscript. He goes, oh God, what do you want me to do? So we sat there for. I'm telling you, it was crazy. It was like it was like 6, 8 months by the time I got it all. It was. I thanked him very much. I bought him his paper and his ink. So, anyway, Dave is a pretty good dealer. I taught him the MGM way, how they deal, so he can actually come and actually do an audition here and probably get a job here at MGM Corporation. I taught him that way because there's a lot of dealers in California that do these parties, and they're not up to where they should be. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that he knew because he was going to be there working with me. So he does pretty good. He does poker and blackjack too. So you got a question, Dave?
Yeah, this is about craps.
Craps?
Yes. And a little confused about when to play the don't come. I usually play, I'm a right better, playing the pass line, taking odds, etc. But what do you look for on the table to start playing the don't pass and the don't come? And I'll wait for your answer. And anyway, good luck. And I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Okay.
Anyway.
Are you going to stay on the line or are you going to go to sleep?
Yeah, I'm going to go to sleep.
All right, Dave. I'll talk to you when I talk to you. Okay. Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for calling. That's a good question. A lot of people, I have had people, matter of fact, it was 2 shows back. I think I went over that a little bit. People are afraid to play. People don't like playing the don't. Or the DC, it's called DC. There's don't come, and then there's the don't pass, which is the opposite of the pass bet, which is called a right better. And then the wrong better, the casino loves that. They probably the one that made up that name, the wrong better. You're not a wrong better. You're a craps player. They devise a game, and you have to understand how to play the game, the good and bad bets, what are more longer shots than other. In other words, the percentage and ratios are way out of whack. So when to play the don't. You can actually chart the tables. I usually don't play that. I have played it before. You stand back and you watch the tables, and you'll see people all mad, yelling. You'll see this table jump up and down for joy, but then don't think that's the table to play, because I walked over there and seen newbies win $5 and they're going crazy because they won $5. But I stood there and I charted the tables. A lot of times when you want to know when to play the don't is when the table's really bad. If you're there, you see a player get the dice, 7 out, and the next player gets the dice, they throw it, maybe they get craps or whatever, and then they finally get a point, and then they 7 out, and it just keeps 7 out, and you see people walk away. That's the time to play it. And I do talk about don't lay any odds, and I talk about I think it's episode 44 and 22, or I think it's 22 or one of those. Anyway, but they're entitled wrong bettors versus right bettors, or wrong bettors, or the DC, or those are the titles, and I go through the whole thing of when to play tables that are cold. You'll find more cold tables than you win hot tables. Believe me, I've sat there. Me and my son, one time we played. I talked about this on his birthday. We were in Vegas, and the only thing that saved us was hedge betting. It's really weird because some dealers, I've done this before, and they're looking at me. What are you doing? I said, what do you mean? You're playing the don't and the pass line. I said, so? I says, I'm going to decide what I want to play once whatever happens. So, because you can only make a don't pass when there's no point. You can't do it after. You can play the DC, which is, you'll see that up there, the don't come. We just call it the DC. And that goes, the dice pick your number. But on the don't, you can play before there's a point, and once there's a point, you can actually take it off. And it's weird because the casino allows you to take that off, but you can't take off your pass line. Why is that? Because once you get a point, the ratios are in the casino's favor. And I talk about that on people laying odds in the back on, they call free odds. They're not free. They're coming out of your wallet. The ratio, the dealers are always talking about the casino has no advantage on the true odds bet. Yes, they do. They do have an advantage because each point has a ratio to come up. Like the 4 and 10 are the worst. There's people that don't want to take odds on that, and you should. You should always take multiple odds on the on any of the true odds pay. You should take odds no matter what. 4 and 10, the ratio is 6-3 in the casino's favor. You have to win that bet first. You can't. You just because you're taking the free odds, which is not free, they're coming out of your wallet. It's 6 for the casino win, only 3 for you on 4 and 10. 5 and 9, they're 3-2. That means, and they break it down. It's 6 ways for them to win and only 4 for you. And then 6 and 8 are the best ones, but they don't pay much. Pay 6-5. Exactly what that means. 6-5. 6 for the casino win, 5 for you to win. So that's on the free odds. So and I talk about that, and that's my opinion because that's true. You get paid true odds, but you have to win it first. But back to the DC or the don't. When you play it, it's up to you. You want to walk up to the table. If you see a table with a bunch of come bets, and I hate that bet, that's the worst bet on that table you can make. The second one is laying odds on the don't. But the come bet is the worst bet you can make. And I talk about that on my episodes, Delatory 360 Entertainments on my YouTube channel. And I go over the don't come and laying odds. Don't come, DC, or lay. They're 2 different bets. And I talk about that. And how to place your money and not take odds and make more money just placing your odds even on the DC and laying even your lay odds you were gonna lay, put those, cap it, and just play the whole thing. If you're gonna play the don't come or the don't pass, Just make it one bet. Don't lay no odds. You're better off capping the whole thing. Whatever odds you're going to put, just cap it on top of that bet. You'll find out when I show you. I've showed a lot of people this, and they go, "Wow, I never knew that." And it gets. Oh, I'm telling you, I got a lot of people in all the years I dealed in California, because as a dealer here, I dealed here at the MGM Corporation here, and you can't do that. You can't stop the game and tell somebody, no, do this. Oh, believe me, I'll get written up really fast. Newbie gets 5 write-ups or fired, 1 over a year. Dealer over a year, 7 write-ups to get fired. But yeah, on those parties, I could stop the game because we're there to teach too. So I used to stop the game. I says, let me show you something. So I used to show them. I says, look you're gonna lay. You're going to put $100 on the 10. I use 10 and 4 a lot because it really, really shows you the money you're not making. So $100 on the don't, and then they lay 200. They're laying 200 to win 100 though, but they're totally laying down $300. So the payout would be $200. So if they would take that lay money, and they know they're going to do that, put that extra 200 on the lay and cap it on your original first flat bet, 300, and you'll win 300 instead of 200. So that's why laying odds, and even when you when you do a DC and you go to the point and you lay odds, you shouldn't be doing that either, because you're laying more than what you're going to win. So I go through the whole thing I talk about the whole thing. I do scenarios in my book, and you can see all those. I got all the scenarios on craps, or you can go to my videos, Delatory 360 Entertainment. But if you want a book, and you can sit there, because I go through some crazy detail on craps in the book. I tell you all kinds of little secrets, little things a lot of people don't know, because I've been knowing it for years. I love craps. I've been playing craps for years. In the book, there are 3 stories. Each of those stories are true stories. In each one, blackjack, craps, and roulette. And the story on craps, my record, I started out with, I think it was 300. My first $44. I started playing that, and I was winning, pressing. I'll teach you press pull in that, how to press your bet, when to press it, when to stop pressing it, and then what other bets to take after you start making a certain amount of money. Anyway, my record is I won. I bought it for 300, but my first $44, the table just shot to the sky. I won $9,600 on that crap table, and that story's in the book. But I know what I'm doing too. It doesn't mean my book doesn't guarantee you're going to win. That's not why any book should never tell you that. It's just I cut down the ratios and percentage and put them in your favor, or make you understand what the percentage and ratios are. Excuse me. So, yes, that was a good question, Dave. There's a lot of dealers too in California. I'd say this, but house games. I'm talking about casinos. I'm talking about house games. There's a lot of dealers that are very vague on the don't or the DC or lay bets. So that's another thing. We're gonna go to a commercial here. Do the one in my book, Aaron, our technical director here. And we'll be right back. Hi, my name is Richard Delatorre. I'm the author of It's in the Book, Winning Ways. It's on blackjack, craps, and roulette. And you can get it on Amazon, Google Play. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. And it teaches you the ratios and percentages of the casino, because the casino is really in charge. I put the percentages and ratios in your favor. You spend a little bit more money, but you have a better chance of winning. Doesn't mean you're going to win. No book should ever say you guarantee you're going to win. But what I did do is I cut down the ratios and percentages so you fully understand them on these 3 games. So you can go ahead and get that book. I was one of the top selling books on Amazon 2018. I was number 7. I was with Doyle Brunson, Negreanu, The Magician, John Patrick. So I was pretty good for my first book. So you can go ahead and get that book and pretty much read it till you pretty much got it memorized. And you should be walking to casinos pretty much as an expert on these 3 games. The platform here is Go Live Vegas Studios, and my show is called Full Tilt Vegas, 6 p.m. Saturday night. I do have guests. Brett Lawson is a sports analyst. He comes on after me. Sometimes we double up. He does it on all the sports, and you can go ahead and see that. And I'll see you next Saturday or every Saturday at 6 p.m. on Full Tilt Vegas. Thank you very much.
Live Vegas Studios, a unique multi-camera social media virtual content creators paradise. We offer high-end services using live streaming and film production for your personal or corporate, commercial or event and campaign needs. Pre-record or live stream to your audience on multiple social media platforms simultaneously. Fun and interactive with social media comments, phone lines, live remotes, audio phones.
Hey, back here, Full Tilt Vegas. Yeah, I was looking at my book here. I'm not looking at my book just to look at my book. I'm looking here because when I was talking about card counting there earlier, I put this in here. It's called Original Way versus New Way. What does that say? I'm saying on the first day, rejoice when the gambling. What does that mean? You weren't gambling for a while?
On the first day we rejoice,
Yeah.
then we gamble.
Yeah. On the first day? What do you mean? I gave it up for Lent, so I came back 40 days later. That was my first day back. Original way versus new way of card counting. The reason why I have a title like that at the time, I didn't want to mention Edward Orr Thorpe. He's was a teacher. I think it was from MIT, but he put all the knowledge that he had into I think it was a 704 computer and spit out basic strategy and then card counting. And I do talk about that in the book. That was Edward Thorpe. He was a father of card counting. The reason why I say new way, old way is because there's a guy named John Patrick, and I followed his way. That's how I learned how to card count, and I think it's a better method. I don't call it a system. It's a method of mathematics, and I just think it's a better way because you count all the cards. I do explain in the book why they don't count 7, 8, 9, and John Patrick, the way I've learned from him is I count all the cards. Now, there's a reason why they don't count 7, 8, 9. The problem is they use them when they're playing. They double down and they split with them, but they don't count them. I know why they don't count them. It's just another method of card counting, but I think there's a flaw in that method. And I so far I haven't heard anybody say anything about that paper I wrote on that, because I take the same 3 decks and do both methods. And to me, there's a flaw in the original way. And all you have to do is get the 3 decks, and I tell you what cards to take out. They're right here. I tell you what cards to take out of 3 decks and play both games, both methods of card counting. And I'm telling you, the count on the original way, there's a flaw in it, because the MIT team, geniuses. I mean, they went to MIT. They're geniuses, but they start card counting, but they're using the original way. And the problem with that is, I think it was in August of 95, they lost half their money. Now, yeah, you can be on a bad streak, but I think by not counting all these cards, the way they're using them and the way they were taught, I think that's a flaw, because the count is incorrect. It's supposed to end up at zero, and it doesn't end at 0. The other method I use, that count, if it goes up, it goes up. It doesn't go up, but the count is down. You can tell it's up where it's supposed to be. And I just did the whole thing. I spent hours going over both methods because I want to learn which one I want to learn, and I just wanted to count all. I count all the cards, all of them. The MIT team used 7, 8, 9 to split and double down, but they didn't count them in their count. Why wouldn't you count those? Those are non-10s. They're not 10 cards, so they're not counting them. So if you're not going to count those 7, 8, 9, and they're coming out of the shoe and going to a discard rack, that means there's going to be more 10s left, because all the face value cards are coming out. So by not counting all those, you're leaving a lot of 10s in the shoe. So that's why I think there's a flaw in that method. They're looking for 10s, right? Well, what happens if you pull all these tiny cards out and you don't count them. How do you know what the count is? I know why they do it, but I just think I'd rather use the other method I use, which is John Patrick's, and that's how I learned. I don't know where he learned. We all got to learn somewhere, but I do better using that method. Now, I've never heard anybody say anything, but all you have to do is get all these. In my book, I have all the cards to take out: 17 10 value card, 26 face value cards, 9 aces, 5 sevens, 5 eights, and 5 sixes, and do the scenario yourself, and you'll find out that method they use, the count is comes up incorrect. So, and the reason why I'm saying that is because it's supposed to start at a certain point and end at a certain point, and it don't. The John Patrick method, if it's going up because the small cards are coming out, then it's a true count because there's a lot of tens left in the shoe. So, but you can get my book, and I'll teach you how to card count, single, double deck, 4 decks. That don't matter. 6 decks, 8 decks. Some of the casinos, the Indian casinos, have 10 decks. What they don't understand is in card counting, it doesn't matter how many decks you have. It's just horrible to have that many decks, but it's the count you start with. The number you start with is how you count a double, single, 10 decks, 8 decks. It doesn't matter. It's the number you start with. So they don't understand that. They think you're going to get you confused by adding more decks. It has nothing to do with it. 6 decks, you start at 25, get rich at 49. 8 decks, you start at 27, get rich at 59. It's a certain count you start with that how you keep track of the cards. And I go over you can go to Delatory 360 Entertainment and look at my videos on card counting, counting single, double deck, or card recognition. I go to card recognitions, which is kind of important if you're not a card counter, but I explain the whole thing. Let me see. The other thing on, the other thing I was going to tell you about craps. I mean, my son, I never finished that story. If it wasn't for hedge betting on craps, we were using hedge betting and money manager. Like Dave's answer, Dave called earlier, I was using the don't as a hedge bet. And people are the don't can use pass line as a hedge bet if they want, which they should. If they're playing the don't, say you're laying a flat bet of $100. Man, let me not use that because a lot of people don't. You know, the average person comes to Las Vegas with $600. So say you place, I'll go $30. Say you go $30 on, no, $25 on the don't. Okay, before a point, and then you want to hedge bet against that. So what you would do is you would say you got a point of I'm gonna go 9. So what you do is you tell the dealer, give me $12, 6 and 8. So it pays $6 pay you 7, so 12 will pay you 14. So what you do is you're hoping. Now, if you see a table keep throwing a lot of 6 and 8s, and your point is in the point 6 and 8, and you got a don't pass bet, I don't know, man. It's scary to me because you're gonna lose that money if that point comes up. So I would probably pull it and wait for maybe a 4-10 or 5-9 because to play it, because you have to place it before. So if you place it and you get a 4, I would leave it, but you can still hedge bet against that $25. So you tell the dealer, say the point is 9, you tell the dealer, give me $12, 6 and 8. A lot of 6 and 8s come out, right? Boom, here comes a 6. You get $14. You take that $14 and you set it here on your rack, and then say you get a 6. Don't matter, 6 and 8 doesn't matter. Say you get another 6, so you get another 14. Now you're $28. Guess what? You just hedge bet against your don't bet because your $25 is still there, and you got 28 over here. So even if you lose that 25 here, you got a $3 profit. So you're hedge betting. That's what saved me and my son. We were hedge betting against. We were a right better. We were playing the pass line, and we were playing the don't. First, we put, and I go to the scenario. You'll see it in. I was one of the episodes. I think it was hedge betting on the don't. I think that's the title. Anyway, yeah, we were putting $34, and I don't want to go into it, but you put $34 on the don't. It'll cover 6 and 8, and one of the 5 or 9s because they're 6 and 8 are 12 each, and then you got $10 on 5 and 9, and that's $34. So you're hedge betting. So once you get that, if you hit a couple of points, you start hedging off your don't. If the point is 4 or 10, I would just leave it and keep collecting 6 and 8 or 5 and 9. Only 3 numbers. Should always play 3 numbers. So you'll hit 6, 8. You could hit 6, 6, 6. I've seen 6 sixes in a row. So 6, 8, 5. Say you took the other number was 5. You keep hitting. You keep racking up money, and you now if you want, I wouldn't do it if it's a 4 and 10. You can actually take your money off the don't, or you can actually regress your bet. Say if you have 25, you can tell the dealer, I want to regress my don't. So you put down 10 and take the 25. So you save another $15. These are a lot of things you can do that people don't even know. You can do these things on the crap table, hedge betting against your points, using the don't, or the don't hedge betting off your as a right better, because when 7 comes out, you lose your 6 and 8. Say you play 6 and 8 and your pass line and your free odds, you lose all that, but then you win on the don't. So, but I go into the whole thing, and then I even go through hedge betting on come bets. The DC and the lay. That's real interesting. And that one is, I don't know if that was 44 episode, but I mean, it's craps is crazy. You can do a lot of crazy things on craps. You can. This is interesting. A lot of people don't know this. I've told a lot of people this. Before there's a point, if you see a table, because the 7's a dominant number on a crap table. When they built that crap table, they didn't build it and say, what should we use? Pick up sticks or dice? No. They took a set of dice and they made them to where 7 became the dominant number, and they made this layout, the crap layout, and that's, once you get a point as a right better, 7's your enemy. Doesn't mean you're a don't. It means a don't player, DC. It doesn't mean that you can keep winning, because if your point comes up, you lose that. You don't. So, but I explain the whole thing in all my episodes, or I go into real detail in my book, and it explains everything on craps, the ins and outs of craps. And I do it extensively in the book on craps, because there's so many things. There's so many bets on craps. It's incredible, all the bets. But like I was saying, I got off there. Before there's a point, you can actually lay you can lay all the numbers, and the dealer will tell you how much to lay, because it has to be a proper lay before they'll take the bet, because they have to pay it out. It's funny, if you go $100 on a 4 and 10, it's $100. You get back on a lay, you get back 50, but you have to pay a $2 vig, so you get 48 per each number. And 5 and 9 are $105. You get back 70, and they'll take $3 vig from that. And then the 6 and 8, they got to be 120 to get paid 100, and they keep 5%, so that's $5 on that. But I explain the whole thing in my book, how that's done, how much to lay. But you can lay, a lot of people don't know, you can lay all the numbers, or you can just lay 4 and 10, $100 each, because it's 7. 7's a dominant number, and there's only 3 ways 4 and 10 can come up, and 6 ways for the casino to beat that number. But since you're a lay better and you lay the 4 and 10, your ratios are higher to win the bet. It doesn't mean you're going to win, but the ratios are in your favor to win the bet. So before there's a point, you can lay 4 and 10, 100. I've seen people lay $500 on a 4 and 10, and they win. They get back $250 per each bet. There's still a vig, but 7 is the dominant number, and you just keep collecting that money. Boom, boom, boom. Now, if 7 comes out, you win them both. Now, if there's a point comes out, and say it's 5, 6, 8, or 9, your money's still in play. So you just wait for 7 to come out, and you'll win the 4 and 10. So, but I go through all that detail in craps. Blackjack, like I said, I got card recognition, I got card craps, I I mean, I go through card craps. That's another thing on some of my episodes. I talk about that, how to play the game of craps in California. They use cards. I go through the scenarios and that. The closest you're going to get to using dice and cards, the casino has to offer 20 decks. 20 decks. That's the closest you're going to get to actual playing with dice versus cards. If you ever see a casino use 13 decks, I wouldn't play. The ratios are really crap. I had to figure it out until they took it out. It was 4.5 flips. Not to throw. There's no dice. They flipped the cards 4.5 flips before 7 came out. So I kind of had it. I got it to where I had it figured out, and they took it out and they went to automatic pulse, and so that went out the window. But yeah, that's the closest you're gonna get. I go through that. I go through dice setting in this book. You guys want to learn about dice setting? Don't get crazy on buying videos and tapes about that. It's because a lot of casinos will not allow you to dice set in their casino. So don't spend a lot of money on it. In my book, I do go over dice setting, how to set the dice, how to throw them, the way you should throw them. I talk about that on one of my episodes, dice setting, how to throw it, the mechanics of throwing it. It does work. I'm telling you right now, it does work. But they see you kind of the way you lob them, wherever position you're at. They're not dumb. They already know. They already went through this. Ellis Island does not allow you to you pick up the dice and throw. They do not allow dice setting at all. But they will start watching you start making points. I say use it here and there. Don't continue to do it because you're going to get caught. Like if you want to throw a hard way, I show you how to set up the hard ways. You want to make that bet and throw it. If you don't make the bet and you keep trying to make that hard four or whatever hard number you want to hit, remember on a 4 and 10, the ratio is 7 times you can try it before you're into the casino. That's the ratio. If you go the 8th throw, you're into the casino, even if you won. 6 and 8, it's 9 times. You can try it 9 times before you're into the casino. So if you're pretty good at it, you can probably make some money that way. But like I said, don't stand there and try to make hard ways all night. They're gonna know what you're doing, and then they're gonna see what you're doing. I show you how to set the dice up really fast, so that way you don't spend a lot of time flipping them here, flipping there. You're really quick at it. You should know how to look at a set of dice and know what number's on the bottom or the side. You should know that, and I go through the whole thing in the book how to do that. So I got that, card counting, card recognition, roulette. I know a lot of people don't like roulette, especially men. But the way I devise it, I break down the ratios and show you what the bets are, what's against you. Like the one I really use a lot is there's 38 numbers. You got 36. You got 18 red, 18 black. So it's 36 numbers. Then you got the 2 greens. So that's 38 numbers. If you pick one number, I don't care what number. I don't care if you pick up one of the zeros. If you pick one of those numbers, say you pick number 1, you have 37 numbers against you to hit that one number. That's a ratio. I don't care what it pays. I don't care if it pays $1,000. It pays $35. 35 to your 1. It's 37 the casino got to your 1. So that's your ratio. So I go in and teach you how to hedge bet or how to hedge bet against all that. I know the Hilton. I know why they're doing it. It cracks me up. They have the 3 zeros now, and it's funny. You know what they did? They put them all in a row. 0, 00, 000. They put them all in a row. And I do talk about it. I'm going to tell you right now live here, people. I'm going to tell you live. If a dealer's been dealing roulette for at least 6 months, they can almost I'm going to say almost. Not 99, not 100%, but 90, I say 98% of the time they can put that ball where they want it. And I'm just going to say it because I was a dealer. I see dealers doing it. Nobody talks about it. No, what does the Hilton do? Crack me up. They put all 3 zeros in the pocket right next to each other. It's about this big. So a dealer has that much to hit one of those zeros. So what the casino does is if they see a lot of people playing some pretty good chips out there, stacks of red, black, odd even, numbers all over, chips all over the place, even if they see one person playing one of the zeros, they're going to try to hit that zero to pay that guy off. But you know what they're going to win? They're going to win all those chips on all those other bets. Or if nobody's playing zero, if the dealer's not dumb. I mean, the floor could possibly come over and say, hey, you know, whatever. I don't care. I know it. I know it happens. I talk about it in the book on roulette. I talk about it in the back of my book. Dealers can be very friendly or very, very clever, and I talk about that here in the book. And that's what I mean. Believe me, I know. I know it works, but I've seen it done. I've seen people come up. I talk the stories in my book on roulette, and if you get the book, you can read the story, and it's a true story. But really, honestly, it really pissed me off when I see they put 3 zeros, 2.78%. You have now 2.78% more to lose when they added that 000. But they put them all three together. That's stupid because, I mean, cheapers. I bet I'm probably rusty on that big giant wheel because it's huge. I'm used to a smaller wheel in California on the California games, but it's not going to take me long to figure out how to hit those 3 zeros. So it's just disgusting to me that the casinos are doing this. I know other people, card counters, are very angry when they put those automated in. They try to say they want to hurry up the game. No, they're trying to stop card counters from counting, and that's why they put those automatic Paulson's shufflers in. That's why they did it. They're not trying to hurry the game. And what pissed me off about that, Vegas is fucking insane. Don Wells, who's just this is the thing that really got me mad. And I mean, think about this, people. Remember when you still can't do it. You can't talk on your phone or at the blackjack table. Even in the crap table, they tell you to back up. Before, you weren't allowed to have a cell phone in the casino. Well, now, think about it. How come they can have an electronic device on the table shuffling cards, but you can't have an electronic device? How come they can have it and you can't? That's what got me mad. So, I don't know. Just a lot of stuff the casino does that really pissed me off. They already have the advantage. They took 3-2 on blackjack to 6-5. Automatic shufflers. Run through the comp system. Try to get as much comp as you can because that's the only freebies you're going to get. The only way you're going to understand to break down these games and to know what the ratios and percentages are, get my book. It's in the book Winning Ways. You can download it tonight on your phone, and you can have it and start reading it and learn the ratios and percentages. So when you come here, at least you'll have a shot of winning some money and not let the casino in charge. So the other thing is I'm going to be taking a vacation from my show, but you can go ahead and see all my videos on Go Live Vegas Studios here on the Delatorre 360 Entertainment, my YouTube channel, or download this book and get all this information on your phone so you can have it everywhere you go. In the office, in Vegas, on your break, you can read it. So I want to thank you here from Go Live Vegas Studios. This is Full Tilt Vegas, and I will be on vacation for quite a while. So we'll see you, and thank you very much.